Hey, let's look at some 7th round options for the Vikings. All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. I'm One Bar with Lupagus on top of me. We're going to be looking at some 7th round options for the Vikings before you get your panties in a bunch and hit up the comments. We know they don't have a 7th rounder, but they're very well could. So we're going to be looking at every single round, regardless if they got a pick or not.
Why are we doing this? Because it is draft month. The draft is 3 weeks away from today. So we're going to delve very, very heavy into the draft. So before we talk about 7th round options for the Vikings, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like and comment on the vids. We are closing in on 9,200 subscribers, and I can see it from here.
Let's do it, baby. Also join us on draft day for the tailgate party. It will be fun, but who cares? Let's start. We got 10. Lupagus has got 5. I got 5. And at the end, we're going to each give our dream 7th round pick.
Ooh.
Speaking of dream, let's talk about Carrington freaking Valentine, cornerback, Kentucky, and 6 foot, 200 pounds, good length speed, can blitz from the outside, can play press man, started since a freshman, and just like pretty much every other 6th, 7th round guy, I mean, he needs to clean up he's got some fundamentals issues. So he needs to clean up his technique. He needs to do that. He only had 1 career interception. Sounds like he actually dropped quite a few. So might have a little case of the Butterfingers as well, which is a top 5 candy bar. But bring in a guy in the late rounds at corner, especially who fits the mold, who can compete with like the Kalen Barnes, the Tay Gowans.
No, I like Carrington Valentine quite a bit. I actually thought I was using my 6th round option when we did that video, but you took him here for 7th, and I do think he's probably a 5 to 7 rounder. He did, I think, put on about 10 pounds of muscle recently, so he's probably even weighs more than what you had mentioned. But he's fiery. He's a competitor. I like this guy. He's a scrappy dude. So watching his highlight tapes got me very, very excited. So I'm a big Carrington Valentine guy.
Yeah, special teamer right out of the gates, and Lupagus is up.
What do I got first? Stetson Bennett. Yeah, quarterback. I think he could definitely fall around 7 with that recent body cam footage that came out. Public intoxication happens in January.
Sounds like a Tuesday morning for me.
Yeah, but you got arrested. You don't get arrested because you're smarter about it than Stetson was, and I think that definitely put you're in this 3-month period where it's basically a one long job interview to go out and do something like that. When you're already one of the bigger names because you're a 2-time national champion, not a good look for Stetson. So I do think if he's there in round 7, I wouldn't be surprised. But you look at a great combine. I mean, he's been super productive in his career. Vikings do need a quarterback at some point in this draft. They wait until round 7 and Stetson Bennett is there. I think he's a guy you got to pull the trigger on.
Yeah, and he could be a guy that goes as early as round 4. He's all over the place. So Stetson Bennett, I don't think that's going to affect it at all. We've seen players do very, very, very bad things. It did not affect their draft stock, especially a guy that's already a mid-round guy. But yeah, I'd be all for it. We got him in 7th round. Hell, yes, and it would just be fun having Stetson Bennett. It's like when we got Gino Torretta. It was just fun having Gino Torretta.
Fun, just like our draft tailgate party is going to be.
Oh, man, we're going to get drunk. We're going to put Stetson Bennett's video to shame what we do that evening. Let's go to a third one. Let's go to Jake. Bobo.
Yeah.
Big. It's ginormous. That's why I love him. I love tall wide receivers. 6'5", 215. 4 years with Duke, went to UCLA, but he's smart. He's big. Everything you read about him, high football IQ, reliable. He's a possession receiver. He's slow. He's definitely not going to win any foot races, but a possession guy, a guy that could be in there, number 3, number 4. He could even be a guy that they also say, screw it, we're going to try him at tight end just because he's so damn big. You have to bulk up a little bit. But I love putting a tall wide receiver, getting one somewhere throughout this draft. Round 7, if he's like the 4th, 5th wide receiver, red zone target, Jake, come on home, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. The big receiver, we don't have one. We don't have that big guy who can go up and get the jump balls in the red zone. So Jake Bobo makes a lot of sense, especially here in round 7.
All right, next up, Lupagus has Brenton Cox.
Yeah, everybody knows I love me Brenton Cox Jr. And why is he going to be available around 7? Well, it's because he's got character issues. Dismissed from a couple programs, got kicked off of Florida for this little fight on the field. But the dude's an explosive edge rusher, so quick off the ball. I think, you bring him in here, knowing these character red flags. Brian Flores will whip this kid into shape. He ain't gonna take any shit from this guy. And you know what? If he does have another thing, it's a 7th round pick. Show him the door. But to get a guy with this kind of explosiveness off the line in round 7 to me would be absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue taking a flyer on a guy that definitely doesn't have a very good track record, but it is round 7. The guy can play. I still think it's funny that you think that's the only reason he got kicked off the team. Was just
I don't think it's the only reason. I'm sure there's shit that we don't know about. I mean, because you look at the tape, that video. I mean,
put that aside, that doesn't even mean anything. That was just the last straw.
Yeah. So whatever else happened with Brenton Cox Jr., I don't know, but I know what he is as a player, and he can be damn dangerous.
Yeah. 2 programs gone. If none of that happened, we'd be talking about him as a very early pick. Very early. Speaking of early.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with early. Chad Ryland, kicker, Maryland. Boom. To me, there's 2 kickers in this draft. He is one of them. And I think either one could go. But to bring a guy in, the whole point of this, give Greg Joseph some competition. And not even just an undrafted free agent. Put this time into actually draft a kicker. So Joseph just isn't thinking, I just brought in some guy off the street, blah, blah, blah. A little added extra pressure. And you know what? It gives Ryland a little confidence. We want a kicker with a little confidence. Damn it, they spent the draft pick on me. He's got a good leg. Extra points. I think he's like 98% in his career. His career field goal percentage was a little bit lower, but his freshman year was dog shit, which definitely hampered that. But I want him to bring a guy in, and I want it to be Ryland or Moody. No other kickers.
Yeah, and I think you said it. It's all about putting some pressure on Greg Joseph. Don't just let him get the job, make him earn it. And yeah, I'd rather see him compete against a 7th round pick than an undrafted guy. Other thing here too is if Vikings do actually have a 7th round pick, it means they probably traded down multiple times. So you can assume that they have, this may be like their 9th pick in the draft. They've already hit all their need areas. You got 1 extra pick just floating around. Why not use it on the kicker? Why not?
Is Jed there? Jed, I'd love to make that call.
Oh my God.
I think I'd do really good.
Maybe one day they'll let fans do that.
Oh my God, I highly doubt it. Let's go to Lupagus.
Lance Boykin. So here's a guy I was on early in the draft season. I think back in January. I think he was in the East-West Shrine game. Lance Boykin, the cornerback from Coastal Carolina. So I'm coming full circle on old Lance. Big corner, 6'3", 210 pounds. Flores likes his big corners. I think he actually was at the combine, had a decent combine. Look at his career stats here: 77 total tackles, 136 total tackles. My bad, 3.5 for a loss, 2 sacks, 7 career interceptions. So he's got some ball skills. Again, we need corners. You're probably going to dress one early if you want to double dip. Do it round 7 with the guy with some upside here in Lance frickin' Boykin.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said everything, just like Valentine. It's like take a chance on one of these late round corners. Boykin, he's got that beautiful big size. I love it. And he's very athletic. So win. Isaiah Land. If you can tell me how many sacks he had last year, I'll give you a chest bump.
13.5.
How many?
13.5.
No. Yeah, maybe in one game. He had 19 sacks, not socks. That's in 2021. Put himself on the map, led the nation. His big thing, he's just athletic as hell. He finds ways to get to the quarterback. Again, all of his profiles, everything you see, he's just very raw when it comes to actual pass rush moves, but everything's just aggressive, nonstop, and athletic, and he does whatever he takes to get to the quarterback. 25.5 tackles for a loss as well that year. 6'3", 236, little undersized, but just like my dreamboat 7th round player, who I will be talking about in a minute, he just finds the quarterback and he puts him on his ass. Bring these guys in and try to develop them, beef them up a little bit.
Hell yeah, I like it. I like everything about that.
I think I forgot one, so we're gonna have to do a spoiler.
Who'd you forget?
I forgot to add one, so we're gonna do 2 at a time here. So you're up with Jake.
We already mentioned the kicker, and there's not much more to say. Jake Moody had a great East-West Shrine game, nailed 3 field goals in that one. Between him and Ryland, if a kicker gets drafted, it's going to be one of those 2. I prefer Moody, but, I'm fine with either one.
Moody would be sweet. Joey Fisher, spoiler alert. Offensive tackle, you look at, we don't really need that. Do we need an offensive tackle? But like you said, if we're picking in round 7, we probably have multiple picks. We do need some depth, at least to push some of that low somebody, and also practice squad style. And Joey Fisher is a guy that, again, he could kind of go all over the place. 7th round might be a little low for him. He could go sooner, but he's ginormous. 6'5", 322 pounds, not overly nice, extremely powerful. And as a guy that in a couple of years, you could look at and be like, holy shit, I can't believe we got this guy in the later rounds, because once they refine his technique a little bit, he could be a mauler out there, a mauler. But he went to Shepherd, big questions at level competition, blah, blah, blah. He whooped ass when he was there. He put everybody in the dirt. Joey.
Call him the Gravedigger then.
It was a horrible car, monster truck. Actually, it was the best one. I'm sorry.
There was no Bigfoot.
All right, next. Final one.
Yeah, Shaquan Davis, small school, South Carolina State, another guy I was talking about early in the draft process, coming full circle, going back to him. In round 7, what happens? You start seeing these names like, who the hell is that guy? Who's that guy? He's ranked 90th in my Lindy magazine. Teams find guys that they like, and this is when they draft them. And Shaquan Davis, you talked about the big receiver in Jake Bobo. He is also 6'5". In 2022, he had 45 receptions, 934 yards, 11 freaking touchdowns. It's the level of competition that's the concern, but this guy's body is big. He knows when to go up in a high point of football. He's actually pretty good with the ball in his hands as well as a runner.
Oh.
So Shaquan Davis, name to keep an eye on here. I think there's a lot of upside with this guy.
Isn't he super scrawny or not?
He's 6'5", 180. I'd like to see a couple more pounds on his frame.
Are you serious?
That's what it says here in ESPN, but yeah.
I don't know if that's right. That seems like way too, like, that seems like bones. All right, I don't know. But yeah, I looked him up. I didn't know who the hell it was, and I'm looking him up. I'm like, holy shit, 29 career touchdowns, 20 yards plus per catch, which is huge. Gets a lot of yak. So yeah, we're on the same page of getting that big lanky wide receiver, even if he weighs 4 pounds.
Yeah, I've had dumps that weigh more than him.
Oh god, that is disgusting. All right, let's go to our dreamboat pick. If we could pick a 7th rounder that the Vikings actually end up, who would it be? I'll give you the honors.
Well, mine's all based on this. Every single draft, you see someone tumble down the board because of an injury issue. Sometimes we know about it. Sometimes we don't. It just seems like the Vikings never pulled the trigger on that guy. A couple years ago, it was Trey Smith, guard from Tennessee. The Chiefs end up getting him very, very late, and what he turned out to be one of the best damn linemen in the NFL right now. So I want the Vikings to do the same thing. And if this guy falls down the board, take him. Andrew Voorhees, USC. He just blew out his ACL. He went ahead anyway and still benched, but he's a violent blocker, very aggressive, powerful. You let him rest, let him heal up. We don't really need him right away. Maybe he comes in halfway through the season next year, even if it's in 2024, to compete for a starting job. But if Voorhees falls, and if he falls around 7, and the Vikings have a pick, I'm praying they use it on him.
Wow, that was deep. Agreed. I mean, what was he before that? Like a 2nd, 3rd round guy?
Yeah, it's like 2 to 4, I'd say, depending where you are.
Yeah, I just see one of these teams that have just a ridiculous amount of draft picks taking them in like round 4, like something still super crazy. But I want them to fall bad. I would love everything about that. My guy is Caleb Murphy. It's easy.
What?
Love him more than anything. Had him on the show. If you don't love this guy, you have no soul. Bring this guy in. Like I said, with Land, I mean, he gets to the quarterback, but not only that, he is just a guy you want on your team. He is hungry as hell. He's going to be out there trying to prove everybody wrong like he's done throughout his whole college career at Ferris freaking State, getting 25 sacks. Great dude. I bet it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I'm going to go ape shit.
He's going to go to the Vikings?
Oh, yeah, and it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, my God.
Caleb. Let us know comments. 7th round guys that you want. One of these guys that you absolutely hate. And just remember, there's a lot of wiggle room as far as when these guys go.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these guys could go earlier. Some might be undrafted. We don't know. It's the draft. That's what we watch. That's why we watch this thing. All right, guys. Again, let us know in the comments what you think. Give us some other options. Remember this. Dragonfly nymphs can suck water up their butts and shoot it out for jet propulsion.